Well, hi there, and welcome back to another episode of Let's Talk Real Estate Investing. I'm your host, Sharon Vornholt, and I'm so happy you're tuning in today. Today, I want to talk about how to get started in probate investing, and I get a lot of questions around that particular topic. You know that I love probates because they provide you with an endless stream of leads, and you get to help so many people. So why don't more investors dive into this niche? Well, that's one thing I want to talk about today, too. I believe that there are a number of things that hold investors back when it comes to probate investing, but generally it's for these reasons. They don't understand the process. They believe they need to know a lot of legal stuff, their own mindset. And one of the biggest things is that they don't know how to have conversations with these folks. They just don't know where to start. And I have some tips for you on that today, but let's go back a little bit to the process. You have to first understand the probate process. So let's go over the steps just kind of as a refresher. First, there is someone passes away. That's the event where it all begins, of course. And at some time later down the road, the estate is opened. Now, it might be soon after someone passes away, but more than likely it's going to be maybe months or maybe many months before the estate is opened. Once that happens, then there's a court process that goes on, and you don't need to be concerned about that. But what you need to know about it is that an executor is named. That's the person that would have been named or in the will or chosen by the person that passed away as the person to take care of their estate. So they would have been chosen. Or in the absence of a will, the court will appoint someone known as an administrator. Jointly, they are referred to as the personal representative. And you'll hear me say that over and over. So if it's the personal representative, they have the same rights, responsibilities, and duties. It doesn't matter if they were, chosen by the deceased, so they're an executor, or if they're an administrator. It doesn't make any difference. So the estate is open, and this next step determines who the decision maker is. So the PR is the decision maker when it comes to probates. Now, the next thing that happens is the assets are sold. So all the assets in the estate are sold. And this, my friend, is when you can buy the property in the estate. So this is why you need to understand the process. You need to know at what point can you buy the property in the estate. Now, once the assets are sold, the creditors will be paid. The creditors are, as you know, anyone that money is owed to. It could be credit card companies. It could be an auto loan, a mortgage, but it will also be things like nursing home bills, attorney bills, funeral expenses, hospital bills, all of those sorts of things. So those are all whatever bills are associated with that person those are the creditors, and they'll get paid. And then and only then will the heirs get what's left. Now, you can see that the heirs are way down on the list. They're way down at the bottom of the list. So they're very motivated to keep this process moving along. So you need to understand how this process works and how it all plays out, because once all of those steps are done, then the estate is closed and it's all over. So you don't wait until the estate is closed. You want to do it, while you're in approximately the middle of it. And this is true for most areas, for most states. So that's the process. And once you understand the process, then you can move on to the next thing that I commonly hear, and that is that they need to know a lot of legal stuff. Investors think they need to know things that they don't need to know. Sure, you need to know some basic terminology so that you can talk to these people. You need to understand the basic terms associated with an estate. But that's why you have attorneys. That's their role, is to understand all of that. You should always, of course, have a good attorney on your team. That might be a probate attorney. It might be a real estate attorney. And it's been my experience that real estate attorneys in my area, they know a lot about probate. So as long as you've got a good attorney, they're going to tell you if there's some problem with the estate. So you need to have some familiarity with the legal terminology and the process. But at the end of the day, it's pretty much just like any other deal. It really is. Now, mindset, I've talked about this a lot. So there's your mindset that you need to overcome. You need to understand that it's not creepy or weird. You're not profiting off of someone else's loss. Rather, you are there to help these folks settle an estate, which is a legal process that they are required to participate in. They need to get this done so that they can get on with their lives. Once you can change your mindset around this, it's a huge difference. It is huge because then you really see the value that investors provide to these folks that have property in an estate to sell. We're not taking advantage of anyone. We are providing a valuable service. Now, that's the mindset of the investor. And you also need to understand the mindset of the seller. These are just regular people that have this enormous job of settling this estate. They have this job in the midst of everything else they've got on their plate in their lives. So they are anxious to get it over with. They want to get it done. So understand and get really clear on your mindset and where you need to get your mindset to, and understand the mindset of the seller. Now, another thing that holds a lot of people back is having conversations with these folks. They think about, I want to get started in probate investing, and then they go, wait a minute, I don't want to talk to these people. I don't know what to say to these people. I think it's going to be weird. The conversations are going to be strange. They're going to bring up things about the passing of this person, when reality, it's all about the business of settling the estate. So you just know that these are regular people. These are regular conversations. And I'll talk about that a little bit more in a minute. But don't let that be a roadblock for you. Don't let that keep you from this very lucrative niche of probates. So when you bundle all this up together, we're back to the same old thing. People just don't know where to start. Real estate investors don't know where to start. And today, that's what I want to talk about, is taking these first steps. Because really, once you can take the first steps, everything else just falls into place. Now, where do you get the leads? So you understand the process. You understand a little bit about mindset and what they're thinking, what they are going through. But where in the heck do you get the leads? Well, this, my friend, is what is going to separate you from the rest of the pack. And that is your willingness to do a little bit of detective work, because there is no one place to find these leads. There's no USA clearinghouse or something like that. Probate leads are sourced locally, and many areas, they have online access to these leads. I can name cities all over the country where they have access to these leads. In my area, that's not the way it is. They are in the newspaper here in the back, I guess you would call it the classified section, where all the legal notices and those sorts of things are. So consider yourself lucky, even if they're in the newspaper, because they are readily available. Now, you might have to go to the courthouse if you're in some areas. Some areas, they're not published in the paper. Some areas, they're not online. And then you're going to be going to the courthouse to get those leads, which is very possibly the least desirable way to have to get probate leads. Now, there are some services that sell probate leads. They're generally very expensive. The information is not always up to date, and they don't always have all of the information that you need. So what do you need to work in probates as far as the information itself? What information do you need? Well, you need 4 pieces of information. You need the name and address of the deceased and the name and address of the personal representative. That's it. And if you can get those 4 pieces of information, then you are golden, because you know who to market to, where to send that marketing piece, and you know who has passed away, and you'll therefore be able to find the property address. You're going to want to know, is this a property that I'm even interested in? So these are the things that you need to look for. Now, when it comes to marketing, my philosophy, if you've been around me at all, is you mail everyone every month, so long as the property is available. So unless I've bought the property, someone else has bought the property, if they've come off my list for some reason, maybe there just is no deal to be made there. It's 100% financed. You can't do something creative. They want cash. There are instances where you just can't help these people, but in most cases, they'll come to a resolution. So you want to mail everybody every month. Now, how long do you market to them? Until you buy the house, someone else buys the house, or as I said, they come off your list. So those are the basic parameters that you use for marketing. Now, let's talk about the mail piece a little bit. What mail piece do you send them? Do you send them a postcard? Do you send them a text? Do you call them on the phone? How do you market to these folks? Well, after working with probate since 2008, I can tell you hands down, direct mail is the best way to get in touch with these folks. Trust me, they don't like it when you call them. They've just had a sad event in their life and they don't want to be called. They don't want you to knock on their door. And I prefer to use a white computer generated mail merge letter that says, "Dear Sarah, I'm contacting you about the estate of," and then the person's name and the property and located at this address. Now, some people, they don't like to do that. And this is a personal preference. You can go around the topic. You can say, "I'm looking for property in your area," very generically, but they're going to figure it out. I know this because we've tried different methods of marketing to these folks. And then they're going to say, "And how did you find out about my dad's passing?" So for me, I would rather address the elephant in the room right up front. I would rather just say that I know that you are the personal representative for this estate. This is what we do. This is how we can help you. And we'll be here, and we'll be here to help you whenever you're ready. That's the gist of the letter that I like to send. Now, those aren't the exact words I put in the letter, but that's the gist of the letter. No hard sell. It's a very soft sell, a very nurturing series of letters. You want to nurture these people along a path so that when they are ready to sell, they know who to call, they know what services you provide, and they know that you can help them with things, for instance, like cleaning out the property, if that's something they need you to do. So this mail piece performs better than, in my opinion, than any type of mail piece for probates. It's very straightforward. This is not a time to use colored envelopes and things like that. I mean, imagine for a minute you've lost someone and you get a mail piece that looks like it might be a sympathy card. Maybe it's a pink envelope or a blue envelope. And then they take it out expecting some type of condolences card. And they find that you are sending them a direct mail piece and you want to buy their property. These are not going to be happy people. They're going to feel like they've just had a bait and switch pulled on them. So don't do that. Use a regular standard envelope, a regular standard white, off-white envelope, something like that. So that's your mail piece. So you're going to get your leads. And once again, there are over 3,300 counties in the US, so there's no magic clearinghouse for these leads. Probate leads are sourced locally. It's something that happens in the county where the property is located. The property of the deceased was located. So the next thing I wanted to go over is a website. Now, I've been preaching to the choir forever about needing a website, but this is a case that it will help your marketing and it will help you to do more deals with a website. Number one, you can have a probate page on there that tells how you are uniquely qualified to help these folks. You can say something like, I've been helping folks just like you in the local Louisville market or Atlanta market or wherever you are located. since this time. And you want to say that rather than for 10 years or 5 years. You want to say a date so that as the date goes forward, we might have the best of intentions of updating that page on our website. But if it doesn't get done, you want the information to be correct. So I've been doing this for this length of time in the area where this property is located. And you're saying, I know the area. And here's how I can help you. And you can set yourself apart from your competition. Now, when they get your mail piece, it used to be that when they received a direct mail piece, these folks would just decide based on the mail piece, maybe a business card with a picture that was tucked into the mail piece, if they wanted to do business with you. Well, it's not that way anymore. They want to look you up. They want to know who you are. They're going to Google you, and they are 100% going to look for your website. I even had an elderly guy tell me once that he chose me over someone else because they didn't have a website. So they were obviously a shyster. And that was the exact word he used. They were a shyster. So people expect you, if you are a business, a real business, even if it's only just you, or maybe you're a couple, or maybe it's a family-owned business, whatever. They expect you to have a website. They expect you to have an online presence. They expect you to have a profile on social media. So those are things that you need because you're going to want to drive traffic back to that website. You tell people about your website. You put it in your direct mail letter. You put it on your business card. You want people to go back to your website and check you out for credibility. You are building brand awareness. You want to get known as the probate investing expert in your area. And you do that by tying all of these things together. Now, another thing that you can do is create some kind of content. It could be video content. It could be a couple of articles on a blog section of your website, but you need to be creating some kind of content where people will find you. They will find your content. It's kind of a stacking thing that happens when you're building a brand, when you're building brand awareness, and your brand makes all of your marketing work better. Remember, marketing is how you get leads, but branding is why they choose you. So you have to do these little things to set yourself apart from your competition. And it really does set you apart from your competition. And these things are all things that I teach in my probate course, Probate Investing Simplified. Now, when it comes to conversations with sellers, we touched on this before, but this is pretty easy. And this is what I want you to remember. These are just people that have a problem. They have a problem, and that problem is that they need to sell the property in the estate. They need to get on with their lives. And in order to do that, they have to sell the property in the estate. So do your homework on these folks. When you go to someone's property, maybe you've spoken to them. Well, you should have spoken to them on the phone to set an appointment. Possibly you do that online through your website. However that happens, when you get there, you should know a little bit about the house. You should know about the neighborhood, and you should know who passed away, who the deceased is. Is it someone's mom, someone's dad, someone's child? You need to have a basic knowledge of what the situation is. You just have to be prepared. Do your homework, be prepared so that you can show up as your best self. You're armed with the knowledge about probates. You're armed with the knowledge of their situation. And now you're armed with the information you need to show up as a compassionate person that's there to help them out of a situation so that they can move forward. So once you get there, one way to start the conversation is to look for visual clues. And I've talked about this many times. Look around the property. Look for family photos. Look for things that might indicate who that person was. Maybe it's a mom and she cooked a lot. Maybe there are cookbooks. Maybe the dad was a sports person. You see some type of sports equipment, maybe golf clubs or tennis rackets or whatever. They are conversation starters. You do not have to know that they were the golfer or the tennis player or the cook. You need conversation starters based on the visual clues that you find in the property. It makes your conversations 100% easier and 100% more natural, because when they say, yes, my mom was the cook, we had all of our holidays here, and they tell you a story and you listen to the story, and then you'll know when it's time to say, would you like to show me the property? This is an important part of the process. It's rapport building. It's something I think that many people are uniquely qualified to do. And I especially think women are uniquely qualified to do this. They are uniquely qualified for probates because they have been in a nurturing role pretty much their whole lives. But if you can't come to an agreement about the property, always leave the door open to circle back. Remember that no doesn't always mean no. Sometimes it just means not now. Sometimes if they don't like your offer, they'll mention they're going to list the property. It may or may not sell. You want to be there for their plan B. You want to be their backup person, their plan B. So leave the door open. Always thank them for showing you the property. Always include a business card. I like sending handwritten thank you notes personally with a business card, because let's face it, if they got upset with you, they may have thrown your first business card away. So send another business card. I like using a tool called Bonjoro to make video thank yous as an additional layer of thanking them. You want to build brand awareness. You want to be remembered as the person that went the extra mile. So that's why you do these things. It helps you, put you in a position to be their plan B, helps you to stand out. So I hope that this helped you. This is a great niche where you can make a lot of money while you help a lot of people. But you have to just get a few things sorted out. You have to get your mindset fixed, and you have to really understand the overview of all of this. And know that these leads, they come month after month after month. You're going to build a list with these leads and mail to all of them over a period of time, usually 12, 15 months, that estate will be sold. It'll be settled. It might take a little bit longer. It might take a little bit less, but you will constantly have people coming off your list, new people going on. It's the way it works with probates. So I'm going to drop some links in the show notes on some other shows that I think you might like that go a little deeper on some of these topics, like the art of conversation and some of those things. So be sure and check those out. Also, if you're interested in becoming the go-to person in your area, the probate investing expert in your area, be sure to check out my course, Probate Investing Simplified. It's a 6-module course with all the bonus modules that are released in the sixth, along with the 6th module. So in just over 5 weeks, you can become the probate investing expert in your area. You can set yourself apart from all the other investors that are competing for the deals, but they're not really competing because they don't have your level of knowledge. They just don't know that. So folks, that's it for today. I will see you same time, same place next week. Bye for now.